Good afternoon, students. The topic today, which will be discussed, is health assessment. It is actually in the syllabus of nursing foundations, but the students who are studying second year medical surgical nursing exam, they also need, because this chapter will deal about how we will proceed for health assessment. So now, for the first day students, let us see the purposes of health assessment. The purposes are to find out what is normal, what is abnormal. That means to find out the normal body functions and accordingly what will be the abnormal functions. What is abnormal, we will be able to find out. Next, to gather baseline data. Baseline data means when a person is admitted in the hospital, just after that when we are doing the assessment, this is the baseline data, so that it will be used as a reference for any type of diagnosis, diagnostic procedures, or whether the patient is progressing from a disease or not, etc. Then to plan the nursing care required for that patient. According to the assessment, we will plan what type of nursing care the patient needs, and according to assessment, we are doing the diagnosis of a disease. The other purposes are to plan strategies to encourage continuation of healthy patterns, prevent potential health problem, and manage existing health problem. By doing assessment, we will be able to plan and tell the patient how to maintain a healthy life, how to prevent a potential health problem which can occur because of the findings of the health assessment, and also to manage the existing health problem, to enrich the knowledge of the nurse. And then the purpose is recorded data is also useful in the research and evaluating quality of nursing services in the hospital. Now, how the health assessment is done? It is done by 3 different ways, or the assessment will be incomplete if these 3 steps are not done. So please remember these 3 steps. First, we have to collect the history, health history, which will be dealt in a detailed manner. Second, physical examination. Detailed physical examination is required, or according to the system, like if a person is suffering from cardiovascular disease like heart attack or chest pain, then we have to do a detailed cardiovascular system examination. Then third, diagnostic tests like X-ray, blood tests, etc. These will also help in confirming a diagnosis of the patient, so that the treatment can be planned. In other words, if we say what are the types of health assessment, one is comprehensive. Comprehensive means detailed health assessment. Then ongoing partial assessment. Partial assessment will be done at regular intervals during the care of the client. When a patient is admitted, we are doing daily the assessment of the patient, that is ongoing partial assessment. Then focused assessment. Focused assessment means for a particular problem, a particular system will be dealt. Particular system will be dealt in a very detailed manner to find out the exact problem. That is called a focused assessment. Then emergency assessment. Emergency means any person who has come to the emergency department. That is a rapid type of assessment, so that immediately the treatment is started. Then the students are please requested to go through these terms. First is diagnosis. It is given in any book. What is prognosis, etiology, pathology, signs and symptoms. Please go through the book and try to remember these terms. Then how we are doing the health assessment? There are three ways by which you can do the health assessment. One is body system. Body system means all the type of organ systems are being dealt, like a central nervous system, like the cardiovascular system, GIT or gastrointestinal system. This is body system framework. Next is functional. Functional means according to the body functions. Functions like, again the functions are quite similar to body system framework. Like functional means circulatory function, then one is that the locomotor function, that is the musculoskeletal system will be assessed. Then the third method is head to toe. Head to toe examination is the simplest way of doing examination, and on all the students, when you are writing the nursing care plan, at least you should know exactly what to be written in the head to toe framework. This is very important. Although it looks very simplified, but all the points need to be remembered and nicely written in your notebook. Then next is definition. Let us now see, which I had already said, that the health assessment is done in three ways or three parts. First of that, the first part will be collection of history, health history. So health history is systematic collection of subjective data which is stated by the client and objective data which is observed by the nurse. Now you have understood what is subjective, what is objective. This is health history. We have to ask to the patient as well as simultaneously you have to see to the parameters also. Now there are many guidelines which are given when you are taking nursing history. First, a private room, comfortable position, quiet environment required. Allow the client to state the problem and expectations. Then you should not be in a hurry to do the assessment. Then orient the client about the structure, purpose and expectations of the history, why you are taking the history. Then listen more than talk. This is very important. Then observe also the non-verbal communications like the body language of the patient, the voice tone, appearance, etc. These are non-verbal communication, important cues which you can take while you are taking nursing history. After that, balance between allowing a client to talk in an unstructured manner and the need to structure the requested information. Then clarify the client's definition. What the client is trying to tell, you have to clarify. Again and again you ask the question so that the symptoms which he is explaining, it is cleared or clarified, so that you can write exactly what the complaint patient is trying to say. Avoid yes or no question. Ha ya na questions, it should be avoided because detailed information is always required. Write adequate notes for recording. Record the nursing history soon after the interview because otherwise you will forget the points. Then this is very important in health history, what all things we should write or we should record. First, biographical data or identification data of the patient. In that, identify, that means how we will identify a particular patient. We have to write his full name, father's name, mother's name. We have to write the address, telephone numbers, etc. To note the address of the patient for future references. Then the date of birth, the gender of the patient, religion of the patient, marital status. Then education, occupation is important. Then source of referral, who has referred the patient here in the hospital. Then what is the usual source of health care. if that particular patient is falling ill, then first and foremost he goes where? To the family physician or to a dispensary, etc. You have to write. Then date of admission, it is very important. Then of course you can also write if a patient has already undergone surgery or not. That also you have to write in the identification data. This is also called as biographical data. Identification data, by this we will be able to identify that particular client or patient. Then in the health history, we have the next point will be chief complaints. Chief complaints are the reason for hospitalization, like chest pain or swollen ankles, fever and headache, pap smear, etc. These are for this or for any type of diagnosis the patient has been admitted in the hospital. These all things need to be mentioned. Then third is history of present illness. This is the detailed form of chief complaint. Sometimes the chief complaints is also not written, only the history of present illness is written. History of present illness, in that we have to gather information relevant to the chief complaint. It is similar to the chief complaint, only that you have to write in a detailed manner, including the essential relevant data, self-medical treatment, etc. Like for example, if a patient says that I am suffering from fever, then we have to say that we have to ask the patient for how many days, whether the fever is constant or it is intermittent, or the patient suffers fever only in the night or in the day. These are the relevant and essential questions. Another example is like the patient is saying that he is suffering from pain, then also you have to say ask the duration, the intensity, severity, type of pain, etc. These are the relevant questions, and what are the things which is causing more pain and what treatment he is taking to relieve the pain. Then the components, so the components will be introduction, investigation of the symptoms, like onset, that means from which date you are been suffering from a particular problem. So that is called as onset. It is gradual or it is sudden, that will be told by the patient. The duration, frequency, I have already said, like duration, frequency, location, quality, alleviating or aggravating factors, these will be present in the history of present illness. So whenever you are writing the present illness, try to mention all these points when you are finding a particular complaint of a patient. Then relevant family information, disability affecting the client's total life. Like for example, pain, if it is affecting the patient's life, like he is not able to do his daily activities, he is lying all the time in the bed. So this is the type of disability which is affecting the client's total life. Then next will be past health history. This is next point. First one was history of present illness. This is history of past illness or past health history. In that we will include any type of major childhood illness, any type of road traffic accident or disabling injuries, then any type of hospitalization. This should be mentioned. Earlier hospitalization was done or not, and what was that complaint. History of any type of earlier operations or surgery, any type of immunization or allergies, even blood transfusion. These are important type of past health history. Any type of chronic diseases which he is suffering, any type of major infectious disease from which the patient is suffering, like tuberculosis, etc. After that, the next component of the history will be family history. Family history is important in all the type of non-communicable disease like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, in which the disease can be in the family and through genes it can be transmitted. Any type of cancers. So the purpose is to learn about the general health of the client's blood relatives, spouse, children, and to identify any illness of environmental, genetic, or familiar nature that might have implications for the client's health problem. So, family history is required. In family history, what things should be collected? One is history of communicable disease, heredity factors associated with causes of some disease, then strong family history of certain medical problems, then health of family members like maternal side, like parents, then siblings, aunts and uncles, then cause of the death of the family members, immediate family member and the extended family member. These are things which are included in the family history. Then environmental history. Environmental history is important especially for communicable disease, non-communicable disease, to gather information about surroundings of the client, whether the sanitation, water supply, everything is okay or not, electricity supply is present or not. This include physical, psychological, social, environment, presence of any hazard, pollutant, safety measures. These all has to be asked to know the health status of a patient. The purpose of environmental history is to record major current health related information. Then this is actually the personal history. Personal history means the habits of a patient, dietary patterns of a patient, the medications which is taking regularly, the exercise pattern, sleep pattern, whether the patient is leading a sedentary life or an active life. These are the part of personal history. So after environmental history, this is personal history. History of allergy, history of any type of habits like tobacco, drugs, alcohol, any medications which I have already said. Then the next component of the history will be psychosocial history. In psychosocial history, it includes how the patient or the client and his family cope with the disease or stress, and how they are responding to any type of illness and health. You can assess if there is psychological or social problem present, and if it is affecting the general health of the client or not. So it is important, psychosocial history. Then next is socioeconomic status. Socioeconomic status or socioeconomic history, in that we have to ask about the per capita income, monthly income of the patient, total income of the family, the house, whether it is kacha house or a well built house, number of rooms, sanitation facility present, quite similar to the environmental history. Open air defecation is there or not, electricity facility is present, water supply is present or not. These all things will be asked in the socioeconomic status. Then the nutritional health history. Nutrition, in that exclusively we have to ask about the dietary patterns, like vegetarian, non-vegetarian, number of meals, what type of staple food like roti or rice is staple food of a patient. Then how the food is prepared, what is the method of cooking, whether they are doing mostly the steaming, baking, or boiling. These are the things which has to be asked in the nutritional health history. Then the next point will be review of the total system. It is the part of the health assessment. Review of system means it is a part of physical examination. We have to review, we have to go through all the body systems or organ systems to find out the client problem. So the physical systems will be assessment of skin, hair, head, face, eye, ear, nose, mouth, throat, neck nodes, then we have to do the assessment of respiratory system, cardiovascular system, GI system, urinary system. We have to do assessment of musculoskeletal system, extremities, then endocrine system is alright or not, hematopoietic system related to blood, social system, psychological system. So this is the review of system, or you can say the physical. It will also include the physical examination. Physical examination will be done according to the system or head to toe framework. Now this is important, that how you are preparing a patient for examination, the nursing role. First, provide a private environment. Privacy will be provided by when you are doing examination, physical examination, not a history but a physical examination. You have to provide a room for privacy. We have to provide some, if room is not there, then screen, curtain, drapes will be required for doing physical examination. Adequate light is required so that proper illumination is provided. Then the room should be comfortable, it should not be very dry. Then the patient who are confused, a child who may be of uncooperative age, they should not be left alone. One assistant should always be there. Then for the equipment and safety precautions, it is also a part of the preparation of the patient for physical examination. These all points has to be written if it is asked in the examination also. How to prepare the equipment and safety precautions, how it is maintained. One, we have to wash our hands before and after the examination. Then if a known infectious patient is there, if you are doing a physical examination, then appropriate measures, safety measures should be taken by the doctor or the nurse while he is doing the examination, like use of mask, gloves, gown by the patient, by the nurse if the patient is infectious. Then the articles or the equipments which are used for examination, they should be absolutely clean and free from any type of microorganisms, and the articles should be arranged also in a tray properly in order for easy use. Then in the preparation only, you have to even physically prepare the patient, like ask the patient to empty bladder and bowel before examination so that the patient does not feel uncomfortable. Then provide comfortable clothes to the patient, or hospital clothes are being provided to the patient for easy examination. Privacy, again, proper drapes are required. The client is relaxed by giving a pillow, sips of water or a tissue paper. So these are the different type of position according to the disease, like sitting position, then supine position, then the third one is dorsal recumbent position, then lithotomy position. The position and purposes, these are a separate chapter which is given in the detailed position, and the purpose of that particular position is given in the textbooks. Fowler's position, prone position, then Sims position, knee chest position. These are examination position, that is examination for the rectum is done in this position. After that, the next preparation part will be psychological preparation of the patient. You should explain to the patient so that you can expect cooperation from the patient. Then when the patient and examiner are of opposite sex, a third person of the patient's sex should be present. It is an ethical component, it is important. Then during the examination, the nurse watches the emotional reaction of the patient. whether the patient is feeling fear, anxiety, etc. Then there are certain special considerations when you are doing the physical examination. One is patients from different cultures try to avoid making judgment while when you are dealing with patients of different cultures. Then patients with disabilities, in that we have to provide extra assistance if it is needed. And in the preparation for the children, location of the exam is based on age and ability to cooperate. Percussion and auscultation are done first, and painful areas are examined the last, because after that the child will not cooperate to do any type of examination further. The doctor may examine older children's genitalia last, as it is embarrassing for them. So these are the points while you are preparing the patient for examination. The next is, what are the methods of doing physical examination, physical assessment or physical examination? First is inspection, second is palpation. Inspection means with the help of eyes we are doing examination. In that, what things can be assessed? We can assess the posture, mannerism, hygiene of the patient, body odor, etc. Even the gait of the patient, the dressing sense, the appearance, the general look, whether he is neat or tidy, disheveled. These all things are assessed during inspection. Palpation means with the help of fingers we are trying to gather information. So touch sensation, that means we are touching the patient, we are using our hands and fingers to find out the abnormality of a particular organ. Especially it is done for solid organs like the spleen, liver. These are all palpated. Abdominal organs are being palpated. When you are doing the palpation, the hands should not be very cold, then the fingers should be cut, the nails should be cut short, and what things we will be able to assess? We can assess the temperature, turgor, texture, moisture, vibrations, the size of that particular organ, consistency, any presence of masses or fluid, etc., etc. Palpation can be done superficially or with additional pressure. Additional pressure can sometimes cause pain, or it can be uncomfortable for the patient. So deep palpation is actually used for palpating the abdominal organ like spleen, etc. Then next method is doing a percussion. Percussion is also using a fingers. In percussion we are trying, with the help of fingers we are trying to hear the different type of sounds. Tapping, that is, percussion is also called as tapping. With the help of fingers we are trying to tap and find out the sounds, and accordingly different sound notes will be written. That particular terminology should be used, like dull sound, tympanic sound, resonant sound. Dull sound means when the area is, particular body area is filled with water or fluid. Tympanic means if the particular area is filled with air. Flat sound means if it is a solid type of organ, then the sound will be flat. Then auscultation, it is also listening to body sounds. In percussion we are trying to hear the sound with the help of tapping, by tapping the fingers. Here we are listening to the body sound with the help of stethoscope. This is auscultation. So if one asks what is auscultation, listening to body sounds with the help of a stethoscope. This is the complete definition of auscultation. So sounds from the heart, lungs, abdominal organs are being auscultated. That means with the help of stethoscope we are trying to find out the sound, and according to the different sounds we can make a diagnosis whether that sound is normal or abnormal. Then the next method is measurement, measuring height and weight, length or diameter, like measuring the skull circumference, height of the patient, growth of the uterus during pregnancy. Then the next method is manipulation. Manipulation is systematic moving of a patient's body part, like range of motion of joints, flexion, extension, rotation, circumduction, etc. These are a part of manipulation actually. So the diagram shows this is tapping, this is percussion actually. The picture shows how you are doing percussion. This is a type of percussion hammer, or it is not used for doing percussion, but it is used for testing the reflexes, which I will discuss later on. This diagram, the second diagram examining a thyroid, it is a type of palpation. When you are finding a pulse, this is also a type of palpation. When you are assessing abdominal organs, this is a type of palpation. So today I will now conclude the topic. In the next class I will continue with this topic. Thank you, students.